When I teach, I wear my cape on backwards. But the truth is, when I get home, I am totally exhausted and very hungry. But I don't have time and I don't want to make anything that's super complicated. So I usually go to something fast. And one of my fast foods recipes is a fast frittata. And they're fast because you just gather anything up out of your refrigerator. You grab something you probably already have, like eggs, cheese. I have like two of my favorite cheeses, like a sharp cheese and a really nice soft cheese. Some lunch meat out of your fridge, a couple of fruits or some veg that you put it in, and some of your favorite herbs. And just like that, you whisk it up, put it in a pan, put it in the oven, and you've got an ultimate dinner that is personalized because you're going to put it in a tiny little pan. So let's get started with a fast frittata. Okay, so in your bowl, you're going to crack some eggs. Remember, we already talked about the good eggs. You want the really good eggs so you can have really great flavor. And I'm going to do 4. And the reason why is because I might save this for breakfast or for lunch or a snack later. Or I found a green one. Okay, so you have your eggs in there, looking all beautiful. And you are going to then get a little bit of milk, or half and half, and you're just gonna pour a little bit in the center. You don't want to make it super sloshy, and you want the batter it to be a custard, so you want it to be on the thicker side. So once you have that, you can set that aside. And then you're going to start adding some, getting your herbs and stuff prepped. So I have some parsley, and I have some fresh parsley, but this is also a good time to go into that well-stocked pantry and find your spice rack and get you some of your favorites. So I am going to just do some parsley, and I'm also going to do dill because I love dill and eggs. I don't know what it is about dill and eggs, but I do. Ooh, parsley smells so good, like fresh parsley. I like to go for the flat leaf parsley. It looks like this. The leaves are all flat because it has a little bit more flavor to it than that curly parsley. So if you're in the grocery store, try and find flat leaf parsley. I got this out of the school garden, of course. Either I get it out of my garden or the school garden. And I'm just going to sprinkle it right in there, just like that. And I'm also going to cut some of my tomatoes in half. I just have a few, and I'm going to save those because I'm going to dot them in my pan, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So these are some little baby cherry tomatoes. I love to keep cherry tomatoes in the refrigerator because they go good if you put them on little sandwiches. You can make little tiny shish kebabs with cheese and meat cubes on there. It's sort of like an upscale Lunchable. And so I have a few in here. I'm going to do one more. And I'm going to slide those to the end of my board as well. Now, I'm going to take my bell pepper, and I'm only going to use one side of my bell pepper because this isn't a big frittata. So I'm just going to use this half right here, and I'm going to slice it right here, and I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to run it along this edge because I want to get rid of the white part because the white part inside of it is very, very bitter. Does not taste good at all. And I'm going to take this, and I don't like to cut on the shiny side because your knife won't catch it that easily. So on the inside it's kind of rough. So we're going to just make some long and thin cuts, and that's called a julienne. And I'm thinking about doing a knife skills class. So like I always tell the kids, long and thin julienne. So you want to make them just like this. But I'm going to take a couple to the side and make a very small dice. I guess you could call this a brunoise because they're kind of small. I'll show you what they look like. Just like that. And I'm going to put those to this side as well. So I have my tomatoes prepped, I have my parsley prepped, and now I'm gonna go for some lunch meat. I just had some ham. You don't have to have lunch meat. This can be totally vegetarian. It can't be vegan. I haven't figured out how to make a good vegan frittata yet. I might go try getting some of the egg substitute, see how that works. Talk to some of my friends. I have quite a few friends at school who are vegans. So they've been requesting some recipes, so I better get on it. So I'm gonna chop up my lunch meat, right? Make it nice and thin. I mean, nice little pieces like this. Not minced, but just a nice chunky piece so we can get them. And I think that's all I'm gonna prep on my board. So let me just lift it up so you can see. Everything is right there, looking great. Ham and my little bell peppers and my tomato. Ooh, very, very sweet. Yeah, don't sleep on bell peppers. They're like, the green ones are not that sweet, but the orange and the yellow, sometimes the red, really, really sweet. Okay, now it's time to season up our eggs and our cream or our milk or our half and half, whatever you want to use. So I'm going to first always a little bit of salt and pepper. So here's pepper. And here's some salt. And I bet you thought I was going to use my earrings because I have salt and pepper earrings. And yes, they do work. Because you never know when somebody doesn't have any seasoning. You have to kind of on the slide put some in. All right. And then I'm going to put what I was talking about, my dill, which is dry. And so because your herbs are dry, they pack a lot more punch because they're dehydrated. So you want to just release some of the flavor by rubbing them, and you can smell your hands. They're gonna smell like dill, and I like a lot of dill. I just love the flavor of it. So good with eggs. So I'll put my dill in there. I'm also gonna add a little bit of hot sauce. You can use some hot sauce. You don't have to have hot sauce in it. What I tell the kids and what I tell people is you want the hot sauce to be a back flavor. Like, you can't really tell that it's in there. There's just something you just can't really place what it is, and it's the hot sauce. So you want to put all that in there. Take your whisk, hold your bowl to the side, hold your whisk like you're holding your hand, put it in, and you're going to use your wrist, not your arm, or you're just stirring. So you want to whisk it up. Sometimes I like to smash the eggs a little bit. You're gonna whisk it up, and wow, like the color on this is just the most bright golden color. And that's what you want from those great looking eggs. So I've got some of that in there. I'm gonna add some of my sharp cheese. And you can add any cheese you have. You don't even have to add cheese. But I like cheese, so I'm putting some in here. I'm also putting some soft cheese. So I found a nice little soft cheese, and I'm just gonna put a little bit in there because when I bite into it, I wanna just find those little pockets of cheesy goodness. And they're kind of like, it's really sticky, like my fingers are super sticky. I'm talking to you, I'm just gonna wipe my hands off here. And I'm gonna just stir it gently. And that looks really good. Okay, I think I'm gonna add a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper. And so I have that in there. I'm gonna now add my bell peppers and my ham. I'm gonna stir it, and you kind of gotta look, because you don't want to have so many ingredients that it overpowers, or it's like more ingredients, chunky ingredients than the egg, because the egg is a binder, so you want to be able to make sure that there's plenty of egg to hold all of this. So we're just gonna mix it right here. That looks good to me, because I also have to have room for my tomatoes. And now I'm going to take my pan, my personal pan, and I am going to spray it really well, coat it. I am using a non-stick pan. Whenever you cook with eggs, you kind of want to use a non-stick pan. They're just like, they're foolproof. And then I'm going to pour it in here. Let me go, pour away. Look how beautiful. All right, we are dotting our frittatas with these little tiny cherry tomatoes. They're gonna look so cute floating around in our frittatas. So we're gonna stick it in the oven at 365 degrees. It's already been preheated. And we're gonna let it bake until it puffs up. And the center is gonna be cooked all the way through, and we'll do that with a knife test. So let's get it in the oven so we can get ready to eat. Okay, it's time to check on our frittata. It's been about 10 to 12 minutes, so we're gonna look for if it's firm all the way through and also if it has color on the top. Smells really good. Wow, it's looking pretty. We're gonna put our thing in. It came out a little clean, a little cheesy, but I'm kind of worried about the color. It's kind of pale, so we're gonna stick it in for a few more minutes because you want it a little more color on the top to just get it just right. So I'm gonna give it about 2 or 3 more minutes, but I'm gonna check on it. That's what you should always do. Just don't let it to its own device because you don't want it to go over, because the last thing you want is hard, chewy frittata. You want a nice, light, crisp on the outside, tender on the inside frittata. Serve myself a slice. Really excited. Oh, I think I'm gonna have 2 slices because I'm that kind of hungry today. So yes, amazing. Okay. So delicious. I cannot even describe how amazing this tastes. It's so good and it's light and it's not too heavy. So this is a perfect little meal for breakfast, for a light lunch, or even as a snack between meals. So don't take my word for it. You go home and you try making your own fast frittata with some stuff out of your refrigerator. It doesn't have to be all of this stuff. It can be whatever you want because this is really customizable. My shout out goes to Chef James Floyd, one of my budding chefs, who made a frittata today for his mom with blue cheese and spinach. And I'm gonna have a picture of it because he DM'd me this morning and said, Miss Carviz, help, I need an egg dish, something to make my mom for breakfast. And so we made this frittata and he sent me emojis with the, with the slobber because it was so delectable. So I just wanna say shout out, James. And also, y'all, Corona doesn't like heat, so get back in the kitchen. Have a great rest of the day, evening, whatever you're doing. I know I'm gonna enjoy mine.